Was he slightly offside? I think he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
But superb from Saka. He's stretching everything, Martinelli, to get on the end of it, but I think he would have been offside.
Martinelli really started it by nicking it away. Good play, Lewis Skelly. Sᴘᴏʀᴛs, who has collided with Mikel Merino here, and the referee has awarded Arsenal a free kick. Declan Rice with the curling ball into the area, it's in! Mikel Merino gets his head on it, and Arsenal are level right at the start of the second period. System does its job. Mikel Merino was in an offside position. It remains Arsenal 0, Paris 1. Hold on, what a run by Rice.
Never stops.
We all say, when I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Might understand you by and by.
All right, yes, guys, welcome. Yes, to Sport Cruise Live from the 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Ousmane Dembele's goal ensured that PSG would be returning back this Wednesday. Would also witness the Azorite there in Spain. Barcelona are up against Inter Milan. The last time both sides met in the UEFA Champions League knockout stages was back in the 2009-2010 season that Inter Milan eventually ended up winning. Stadium was going to turn out later tonight by 8 p.m. Barcelona up against Inter Milan. Apart from that as well, guys, other things to talk about on the show today. The Madrid Open currently go last 8. And also, yes, there's also news coming from Nottingham Forest, Man United, to other top executives of the club. So let's just see how all of that is also going on. For apart from that as well, Bayern Munich is now being given a 6-game ban after the whole incident happened at the Copa del Rey final against Barcelona. We'll also talk about the NBA regular season as well, currently going strong. The NBA playoffs rather. Rodri has now returned to full training with Manchester City, and that means there are also possibilities that he could still be playing for Manchester. Chelsea have the chance of winning a 6th consecutive title later tonight. The only way they would be guaranteed of that title is if Arsenal drop points later tonight, and then they also eventually end up winning the game against shared sponsor for the club, despite playing the majority of the season without a shared sponsor. And then they would also be debuting that is known as Agwatomi, and they also know as well that Tᴏᴜᴛᴏ joins me on the show via telephone call, and he was kind of confident about this. Tᴏᴜᴜ, good evening to you.
For the people that know me, you understand that I've had a really long week. I lost a very dear friend of mine.
Wow.
Friendship over 30 years.
Wow.
Yesterday morning, and it kind of really broke me, and just trying to pull through and all of that. So
accept my condolences.
Arsenal when Soja go, Soja come. One would expect that for a team that had not lost at the Emirates Stadium in the Champions League this season, playing against a team you've beaten 2-0 at the same Emirates Stadium this season
as well,
and they're also coming back from an home and away victory over the most successful.
Exactly.
So, and I mean the numbers, the bookies, a lot of people felt like 2-1 win for Arsenal. The other one gave it a 4-1 win for Arsenal.
Wow.
So only a very few people kind of away goals in the Champions League. So the game is open. On the flip of that, you'd expect that Arsenal would go out there at the Parc des Princes next week Wednesday and attack and as well. But that's exactly joined over actually that where would that game be won or lost? And I told you it's the midfield.
Dembele eventually scored
yesterday. And like I said, the conspiracy theory I brought up of the game, if the both legs eventually ends in 1-0, or if this yesterday, he stood the risk of picking up a yellow card yesterday and missing the second leg.
Exactly.
To miss the final. So I'm sure they have analysts. They say, Rice was very furious at him when he picked up. Then he got himself booked up. So I think the fact that Arsenal Arsenal are out, so he had to play deeper. So that enforcer, if you
Merino
observe,
was
the
also
two
there.
clearer chances that Arsenal had yesterday, in the role he had played over 40
in that
games for Arsenal
box role exactly for
before
Arsenal.
yesterday, he's played only Moses Arsenal's back
four exactly.
Of that yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think Arsenal fans will be thinking that Thomas Partey comes back, in the next game. But I mean, irrespective, I'm not sure there can be a more. I'm trying not to use the wrong word.
Exactly.
For the second leg.
Yeah.
You could look at the form of Real Madrid compared to PSG.
PSG have only lost 3 games in 2025.
Yesterday's game was a game that could have gone either ways.
Yes.
I mean, when you lose a match, it's difficult to explain someone.
I said they are the real man of the match.
Donnarumma was the real man of the match because
Exactly.
he made some world-class saves.
World-class saves, exactly.
So a lot of people are just making it look, probably because of the bad belly and because of the banter and all of that, they're making it look like it was a dead day for Arsenal. It wasn't. Maybe if PSG had converted those chances. And the funny thing about football is this.
Exactly.
Some stories are better. I've killed the game of fun.
There are a lot of talking points coming from that game. But I want a control of the game because I mean, he was always pulling the
struggled.
Yes.
I mean, especially when you have pacey players
struggling
to match up with the pace of those young players, and it's always going to be difficult. Well, almost 5 minutes. That caller. So and there were questionable calls in that game yesterday. There was some funny foul that Arsenal will have at the edge of
the box.
And then they allowed play, and then Arsenal lost the advantage. But then, like I said, if Arsenal beat PSV
in Champions League,
the other remaining 2 teams in Inter and Barcelona, they won the Champions League.
Lost just winners.
I mean, PSG to win the Champions League.
I agree with
Look at Barcelona also. Barcelona have not made it to the semi-final of the Champions League since 2018.
Yeah.
So it's not like they have that luxury of the big team that they used to be under Pep Guardiola.
Exactly.
You also look at Inter Milan also. They've not won the Champions League since they won it in 2010.
Yes.
So, I mean, PSG will feel like, you know what, we've got into the final before. Who is out?
Yes.
Man City,
Madrid, Real Madrid.
These are teams.
Manchester United, Chelsea.
These are teams. Come on, my friend. I'm talking about serious teams. I'm talking of Man U. So these are teams that ordinarily, give PSG a run for their money. But PSG are looking at the fact that let us just keep going. They've won the league already. There's no stress for them. And whether you like it or not, whoever had gotten the early goal yesterday would have
taken
advantage.
advantage.
Had that advantage.
Yeah.
So when Ousmane Dembele be the only goal of the match?
Yeah.
So the guy is a punter. So I think he played first half win whatever for PSG. So later
that one
just
Arsenal, exactly.
So before they could grow into it, and we're playing PSG. Have you seen PSG's numbers?
Their midfield. Before
have you seen PSG's numbers in 2025 alone?
Yes, before they kicked the ball, Declan Rice made a statement in the touchline. He said, "When we don't have the ball, we fight for the ball."
See, there's something magical.
February as well, exactly.
Kvaratskhelia and Ousmane Dembele can get the shine, get the attention because the game, then you go and check the stat and you're like, this guy covers so kilometers, this guy made so interception, this guy broke player different. You like grab the ball, you miss it.
Yes, how?
Like they make the spaces so tiny that
despite being under pressure,
it's like you're playing 4 corner posts.
Yes.
You know 4 corner posts.
Yes,
that's exactly. So the immediate ball is going,
but you can't intercept.
You can't intercept that ball, and I think that is the strength of PSG this season. And dusted.
Well,
the second leg, Arsenal knows that they've got nothing to lose. Go out,
go all
out, or go home. Is that you go hard or go home?
You go home.
Going hard for 90 minutes.
Okay, I also saw a disturbing stat.
Wingers in the entire.
I saw a disturbing. We mentioned that.
I have a picture on my phone. For every time Bukayo Saka gets in the ball, there are like 6 PSG players
already on that lane. Yes,
guys, you're not going anywhere. So it's normal when you have when you have star players. Now, the damage was not so much.
Yeah.
It's one said the status quo would remain when Thomas Partey comes back next season. It's going to be probably the team, except injuries. Now it's going to be the team that started both legs against Real Madrid that would also start if none of them get injured.
So will be out of the midfield.
It could give with Martinelli.
Martinelli, okay.
You cannot be a top player at that top level and be missing those chances.
The chances.
You know,
it's Emiliano Martinez. But he won. I think
Euros.
He won the Euros
with Italy.
And that was the same year he also won the Yashin Trophy. Yes,
against England.
Yes.
So
VAR penalties.
It's not. Donnarumma is not a shere boy.
He's not.
It was
It's not.
It was the bad it is they've got
I
into
agree
this
with you.
season.
Imagine benching Keylor Navas.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Physically, he's one of the most experienced defenders in the Champions League history. He knows he has played you. It's like you know how to do day today. So each time you have those sniff moments, you knew what you wanted to do. When it's not like it's a penalty.
He has showed where he was going to play the ball. Yes.
And Ronaldo
trusted exactly. Yes,
I mean, he put the ball where the ball was.
Yes.
You had those little chances, luxury of those chances. You're not going to have so much of, players, fans were also outside of the stadium. The energy was high, it was hyper, but you couldn't take your chances.
Well, we'll come back to talk about that. Don't forget as well that the second leg is going to be next week after the sport. Before we come back, I'll talk about the Champions League. Yes, talking about the sports in the Madrid Open. Jack Draper defeated Tommy Paul 6-2, 6-2 again to also get into the quarterfinals of the Madrid Open. The British #1 broke the American in the third and 7 games and served out to love to take the first set in 32 minutes. And also a stunning 4 hour and 7 minutes. And for Jack Draper, who is a Matteo Arnaudi in the last 8, after the Italian also booked his place in the men's rankings if he wins the Madrid Open. Let's also take a look at the Italian Open. And this also comes after he is now explained to his preparations for the Roland Garros. You'd also remember as well that yes, 22. Let's also take a look very quickly at the scores and schedule of the Madrid Open women's singles quarterfinals later tonight by 7 p.m. That's going to be, I think, about 45 minutes they're about to go. Aryna Sabalenka will be up against Marta Kostyuk later this evening by 7 p.m. We also have taking off by exactly 8 p.m. 8:30 p.m. I beg your pardon, later on today. Also, women's singles, and we also had talking about the women's single quarterfinals, Muyoka Uchijima also are going to unfold for tomorrow games. That's the 1st of May 2020. So let's just see how all of that will also unfold. And then for tomorrow, still talking about the men's singles quarterfinals, Jack Draper would also line up against Matteo Arnaudini for a place in the semi-final against Nikola Mektic and Michael Venus. All right, let's also to join Monaco at the end of the season because his contract is set to expire. The former England international's deal with the German club is set to expire at the end of the season and is now set for a move to France with Monaco. 3-year deal with the option of an extra 12 months. And the funniest thing about this is the fact that Eric Dyer is also set of greener pastures elsewhere. Let's also leave that very quickly. I mean, as the owner, he still remains as the owner of Nottingham Forest, all of his club shares into a blind trust so that he no longer has control. Alright guys, this is Sports Cross live from 90.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Let's also switch course very quickly. Detroit Pistons defeated New York Knicks 106-103. We also had the at 115 as well. So those were the games that were decided in the early hours of this morning. For games decided as well yesterday morning, Cleveland separating both sides, 109-106 win for the Golden State Warriors, and the Milwaukee Bucks as well are up against Indiana Pacers. That's to look forward to in the early hours of tomorrow when it comes to the NBA playoffs first round against LA Lakers as well by 3 a.m. Tomorrow morning. For games by 3 a.m. on Friday morning. All right, guys, let's talk very, very quickly about women's football. Chelsea now have the chance of winning a 6th consecutive WSL title. And yes, let's also quickly talk about the permutations and all they have to do in order to secure another consecutive WSL title this season. The Blues are yet to lose in the league this season. Then there's also a scenario when they could win the title later on today because both Arsenal and Chelsea will be playing tonight. The Gunners, who are 6 points behind Chelsea in second place, visit Aston Villa 2 points behind Arsenal and 8 points behind Chelsea, beat Manchester United to claim the WSL title with game against Tottenham. So that's a North London derby on the 4th of Sunday, in the trophy against another London club.
Not even making it into the playoffs. Exactly. 7 games
unbeaten.
She went 7 wins and crazy. They are running the Champions League. Remember the legs where she saved 2 penalties.
I remember vividly.
So, but then look at how far they've gone this season, which is Olympic Lyonnais. They've won 8 Champions Leagues. I'm talking about Olympic Lyonnais women. In fact, before they they had 20 wins and 2 draws in 22 games, including the first leg of Arsenal. The Arsenal were final in 16 years against Barcelona. So, I mean, they've had a good run. And in the process of, they were 6 points away from Manchester United. And then they just kept building it. Brighton. When they, defeated Brighton by 5-1 before Chelsea eventually played later when they defeated Everton also by 2-1. So, if Arsenal beat Aston Villa, yes. And
Chelsea lead Arsenal with 4 points.
Drew their game. In fact, I think it was against scored both goals for whether Aston Villa or West Ham, either of the teams that they played. It was the same player that scored both goals for
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa have scored.
Yes, they've scored.
Is it Aston Villa?
Yes.
Or Villa
Aston Villa.
That's at the Emirates.
Forget it. Okay, so as it stands now, it's now 7 points. Exactly.
Because they have to take their
to beat Manchester United.
It depends. If it's a draw
tonight,
if Arsenal lose tonight,
Chelsea needs to do
4 points.
They just need 1 more point.
1 win, they need only 1 point.
1 point, exactly. No. Even before that, Kwemi. Now, imagine Arsenal loses tonight against Aston Villa.
Then 1 point against Tottenham Hotspur. And they'll beat Tottenham Hotspur. That is for sure. So I'm sure that Arsenal would want to, pull. They started that game. They didn't kicked off
6 p.m.
They would have also known that all they need to do tonight is to win. It's
not being played at Emirates Stadium.
Okay, they're playing
Aston Villa is home.
Aston Villa is home.
Yeah. At Villa Park. They are playing at Villa Park as it stands. Yeah. At Villa Park.
Yeah,
I think they should. I think they should because Aston Villa.
It could go either way. The game's 8-2 on aggregate in Champions League. They lost in England by 4-1. Wow. They lost in Spain by 4 goals in 2 games.
It's just under 1 week. Exactly.
Under 1 week. Why can't we score against them?
Exactly.
Chelsea have also struggled. Chelsea women, so that people don't think it's the
No. Chelsea make a lot of form as well.
They won 5 Premier League.
Yes.
Back to back heels. Twice they met. 3 times they met in the last 4 seasons.
4 seasons, exactly.
Like I said, Chelsea have also struggled in their last 2 games. So whatever happens tonight, if Arsenal are able to pull that game, 2 teams qualify
for this thing.
2 teams qualifies automatically for the Champions League.
They're just 2 points behind Arsenal. Yeah.
So if Arsenal
they can still win the league.
If Arsenal wins tonight.
And Chelsea loses too.
If Arsenal wins tonight and Chelsea loses you and Chelsea.
And that means Manchester United would also climb to 2nd.
Exactly. Because as it is now, Man U beat Chelsea.
Chelsea they climb to 2nd. Yes. That's what I'm saying.
And that means Man U also have a chance to win the league. I like the setup tonight.
I think it's better than a one-man anything.
Arsenal have won the County Cup at the start of the season, so Chelsea also need to win something.
Exactly, and the female Carabao Cup exactly.
Because around that period, they played Manchester.
All right, let's also switch very quickly to men's football. Real Madrid included in his statement that Anthony Rudiger threw something at him for 2 matches, and that's going to be for 2 games in the Copa del Rey for next season. But for Rudiger as well, he underwent his knee surgery yesterday, of the ban at the start of the next season. So that means that Anthony Rudiger is really not serving any ban because as he starts 5 league games.
Yes,
6 league games rather. 6 league games, and he's injured. He's injured as it stands. Very quickly as well, and talk about Manchester United. Just like we said, we are from Manchester United. Amad Diallo as well as Matthias De Ligt has now returned back to full training. And you also remember as well that for Amad Diallo, he has been sidelined. Could have potentially ended the season prematurely, but now he has returned to full training for Manchester United.
To fight for. That's their only assured way of getting back to Europe next season. Man U cannot, and then they can win the Europa League and get automatic qualification for the Champions League next season, and that would kind of help them in terms of the kind of players they will be able to attract.
Yeah.
And also in terms of revenue, that's a lot of money for them for qualifying for the Champions League. And it also, I kind of takes some form of voted as the player of the tournament. So I mean, it's something they will certainly. The final of the Europa League this season will be played at the that's some massive advantage on the part of Tottenham Hotspur against Glimt. See, they know that they cannot relegate. So as you stand right now,
I'm trying to remember his name, the one that was bought from Leicester City.
Dead and done, and because he also came out to say that he always won a trophy, and he's on the road to do that and deliver that for them. Right. Leave each other. And least one of them will cry on that night.
Yeah, exactly.
More than anything else, Manchester United needs to have this Olympic Lyonnais where they went 4-2, even with a PSG have as many wins against Premier League clubs in 2025 as
Tottenham as well as Manchester United have wins in the Premier League this year, and they don't even play in the English Premier League. 98.3 FM, we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Godwin to Sports Cruise on Mainland FM. God bless you.
Cruise never stops.
We all say when I get older, I will be stronger.
98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. I'm currently listening to the official theme song of the up against the PSG last night. Right there, the Emirates Stadium ended 1-0 in favor of PSG. Ousmane Dembele's goal in the 4th minute gives PSG the advantage, heading to the 2021. No, that was the 2019 UEFA Champions League in their career. But then later tonight, you also have another interesting clash. Talking about Barcelona up this weekend when they lost to Roma over the course of the weekend at San Siro Stadium, and Real Madrid also are still behind Barcelona with 4 points. So that means that for both sides, they are also doing all it takes to ensure they can later tonight right there in Spain. And you also know as well that when two elephants meet, the grass or the turf gets to suffer for that.
I've gotten the result of the WSL I was looking for.
Okay.
It's West Ham versus Chelsea. Yes, the game that pulled Arsenal level, because that weekend they defeated Leicester City.
I think that was it. I remember.
I was very sure it was the same player that got both 2 goals and to the contention
exactly.
But as
for
it
the
stands
WSL
right now, it looks like they're on their way, and it's going to be very funny tonight. If Arsenal loses, United would certainly come second, and that's going to be just 2 points adrift of Chelsea.
Inter Milan up against Barcelona, I beg your pardon, and that game is going to be quickly under our renovation. They're still trying as much as possible to look for money.
They're adding additional seats to the stadium.
I think
even top 3, the biggest, even I think
in Europe.
Yes.
Not in the world. For Inter Milan, they've had an incredible run to the UEFA Champions League semi-finals, defeating Bayern Munich, over 2 legs. The second leg, the first leg, they defeated Bayern Munich at their home stadium, and that's going to be the stage of the back of, should I say, Dorset in the first leg, where they won, I think, 4-1.
Yes, that's Wembley Stadium is 90,000. Sᴘᴏʀᴏ Iduna Park, Borussia Dortmund is 81. Number 3, 81,000.
Is the same? Is the same?
81,359.
Okay.
And 81,044.
Okay, some seats. Yeah, a few seats. Yeah.
So the top 10 has Camp Nou, Wembley, Sᴘᴏʀ Iduna, Santiago Bernabeu, Helsinki Stadium, where with 80,000. There's Istanbul of Turkey Arena with 76,000. There's Old Trafford with 75. There's Allianz Arena with 75. Interesting.
And then there's the biggest of them all, the biggest stadium as well in the world, with a stadium. Do they go to see games in that stadium?
They do.
Let's do the UEFA Champions League very, very quickly. Last time both sides met in the knockout stage of the UEFA Champions League was back in the 2009, ended 3-2 on aggregate in favor of Inter Milan, and then they also got into the finals and won the Champions League. What big
miss for them. We got to the round of 16 where we could check the matchup. Where they defeated their fiercest rival Real Madrid by 3-2. For Inter Milan, they got there from Claudio Ranieri, the manager of AS Roma. So, and you also need to look at, but again, there's a lot on the part of Inter Milan that could play for them tonight. Experience, they've got it. We're talking about a Mkhitaryan that is 36 years old and is redefining at the age of 36. He's still going all strong. I also look at Martinez as well. Martinez
Inter Milan.
For Inter Milan, in the history of the Inter Milan, they've got some really great players, no doubt.
Mkhitaryan is still there.
So I think tonight a lot of those will play. But I think for Barcelona, they are in the form of their life. They are yet to lose a single game in 20. But
let's talk about the potential lineups we'll be seeing later tonight. I mean, you know that Barcelona's forward line, they'll definitely be missing Robert Lewandowski in this one due to the fact that he's out injured. But then there is the likes of Lamine Yamal, Gavi, Pedri as well, Rafinha, maybe Ferran Torres added into the mix, maybe some other young guys as well. Danny age of that squad is 28 thereabout. These guys
by old in world football. They will always tell you that
in your 30s you're old in
the
football.
older the better. and I'll tell you for a fact that I would rather prefer a in quotes, in your own context, an old player that will give me value than a Martinelli that will fire, and you can't. Martinelli cannot even fire your roof. Okay, if you put Martinelli, the starting 11 is out. Confirmed starting 11 now for both sides. In goal is Agna. There's also Jules Koundé. There is arguably the best young defender in the world. Expected. There's Rafinha. There's Dani Olmo, which I think is the Spanish Liga player of the season. Front is Ferran Torres. The beauty of this Barcelona team is that they will run. Imagine a Pau Cobasa and Inigo Martinez against that. There's Francisco Acerbi, there's Alejandro Bastoni, there's Dumfries. Dumfries will certainly about Inter Milan. Yeah. And of course, the Ghost Nicolo Barella, just like you said, there's Chanikogu, there's Eric Mkhitaryan, there's Federico Di Marco. Disrespect to Martinez. Martinez is doing the job. I think Di Marco. Have you seen the goals that Di Marco in their rounds? Federico Di Marco is a fantastic. It's jinx. Yesterday's match, just like yesterday. It's an inter-qualification. That's how I was going to qualify over both legs on PSG. By next week, we'll know who will qualify. So that's the confirmed starting 11. Rafinha, and of course up front there is Fernando Torres and for Barella and expected. There's Ronaldo Araujo, there's Gavi, there's Ansu Fati. Interesting. There's Pablo Torres. Okay. For Inter Milan, they've got Augusto, Matteo Damian, and they've got that due to the fact that time is not on the side. But let's quickly read some messages. This person, if you're looking for a place to hide yourself, please go back to your address. Thank you, Liverpool forever. Thank you so much, Dan P. On Facebook, you also have messages as well. Lawal Aziz says Villa is up by 2-0 as it's down by 1 goal currently. Goals scored in 30th minute first half by Jadon Nobbs. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And also we have a prediction. It's our ladies lounge. This is still on 3FM at the Sound of Lagos. But then let's also get to hear from the ladies. Good evening to you, ma. What are we expecting on the show?
Hello everyone. Sports world is up. Y'all are doing well.
Thank you so much. What are we expecting on the show?
Oh, lots and lots of goodies as usual.
All right.
What about your hair?
Thank you so much, ladies lounge. Please stick around.
Can happen.
Exactly.